With the help of Hashem, I want to speak about the very famous midrash in our parsha. And our parsha says, Lech lecho me'artzecho mibeit avicho el haaretz asher areko. Should go away from the house of your father, from the place where you were born, to the land which I will show you, land of Eretz Yisrael. So Chazal teach us that although there was a lot what to do for Avram Avinu and Tzor Imeinu in Haran, in Ur Kasdim, Moledes, where they were born, Ur Kasdim, where they lived was Haran. They made a lot of gain, they made a lot of converts. It says, V'sanefesh asher asu b'Haran, the soul they made in Haran. Which soul they made? They converted a lot of people. And the Medrash says the reason why Hashem told Avram Avinu to go away, to leave Ur Kasdim, Haran, and go to Eretz Yisrael, because there's a statement like this in the Medrash. Ein Navi be'iroi. A prophet cannot become a prophet in his own city. What does that mean? It means very simple. People that know a person from when he's young, they know him as a friend, they know him as a young man, he had good milas and some less of good milas. So if he's going to become a Navi, a prophet, and a prophet is a present from Hashem, they wouldn't hear him, he wouldn't be able to influence them. Ein Navi be'iro. A person cannot become a prophet and influence the people in his own city. Because come on, I remember you when you were young, were playing with me, this, that, and they don't value the message and the change of the person, and he cannot influence them. So Avram Avinu had to leave his house, the place where he was born, the country where he was raised, the language that he knows, the culture that he knows, and he's comfortable with. He has to leave everything and go to the land of Eretz Yisrael. Okay, the land of Hashem, HaRav Yitzchak, HaRav. And he's going to get in the future, his children, grandchildren, who are going to receive the land. But he had to leave because Ein Navi be'iroi. There's no prophet in his own city. He cannot influence people that remember you and know you before you became a great person. That's the rule. Chazal teach us that Avram Avinu and Tzor Imeinu influenced many people. Many people. Thousands of people. And when they traveled, all those people traveled with them. Now, mothers, fathers, children, families, converts. And the Torah says, what happened to all those families? What happened to all those families that Avram Avinu influenced? You know what happened to them? Do you know, Yonatan, what happened to them? They all perished. They're all gone. None of them stayed with Hashem, with Judaism, with Avromism, whatever it is, nothing of that. No. Nefesh osu chorah. Torah is something else. It's his children, his family, his family. Talk about the converts that he converted. So with all the tricks that Avram Avinu did, he changed an area. In the end, didn't last. Avram Avinu made his own tricks. He didn't give food. He gave food for free. And he says, okay, you have a choice. Or for free and bless Hashem, or pay me. And he built a place in the middle of the desert so people really valued the food and the drinks he gave them. With all that influence, and the great teacher of Avraham Avinu, the biggest teacher on earth, Avraham Ivri, standing on one side of the river and the whole world on the other side, and he publicized Hashem, and he influenced people. It says in the Gemara in Baba Basra, in the end of Amoicher, it's a Sfina, that Nimrod and Terach put Avraham Avinu, Rashbam brings a medrash, that Terach, his father, put Avraham Avinu in jail for 10 years. For 10 years. Shenechbash Avraham Avinu bebeis Asurim 10 shonim, 10 years. 10 years. Then he threw him into the furnace of fire, Nimrod. So he had a fight with Nimrod, he had a fight with his father. With all that, he was able to influence people, and he had thousands of converts and children and families, and he traveled them to Eretz Yisrael to make more. And Ane Reshkoi Limamre became his friends, and circumcised themselves. He influenced a lot of people. He was a king, he was a melech. Many years ago, I went to a house, 14th floor in Daniel Hotel in Herzliya Pituach. And this guy was there, Shlomo Musayov, and he showed me a stone that is written on it that Nimrod is thanking Avraham Avinu, the king, that Avraham Avinu gave Nimrod 300 slaves, and he's sending him a letter back. Don't worry, I will take care of those slaves, and they will not work on Shabbos, not a sabbatical year, etc. So even Nimrod was influenced from Avraham Avinu. That was says in a stone, and a Ksav Yesedos. They found it. Avraham Avinu had a lot of influence in the world. And he had tricks. He had to travel to come to new places that people don't know him. In his own city, he wasn't able to make a center and from there influence the world. He had to leave. And Navi, he had to leave his city. He had to travel. Although traveling, he was Mameet et Hashem, et Hamomo, and his Abonim. But in his own city, he couldn't influence the people. So I thought to myself, what do I learn from this? What is the message that Hashem is teaching us in this, according to this message? It is for you, Emmanuel. You have to learn that when you make publicity, when you publicize something, and you want to sell something, you have to do it with wisdom and tricks. Avraham Avinu used all the methods and the tricks to influence the world. He didn't just go and announce the name of Hashem and have a house of debates. It wasn't enough. He had to give food for free. He had to leave his own city and not to argue and try to influence the people of his city. He left them alone. He started to influence the world, not the people of the city. Because it wouldn't work. It's a waste of time. So where to invest, and how to invest, and how to influence people with food in the middle of the desert. When he travels, a new place, to build an altar, and you have to be rich. It says Avraham Avinu lost all his money. Because when it says later on that Avraham Avinu told his wife Sarah, says, now I know you're beautiful. Now I know you're beautiful. How he knows she's beautiful? So Chazal teach us that he saw in the water her shape of face, that she's like a mirror, that she's beautiful. So he says to her, tell the people in Egypt, tell them that I'm your brother. You're my sister. And like this, they will benefit me and they won't kill me. Very strange. It should be first, they won't kill me, then will benefit me. In order to get benefit from you, V'chayta nafshi, and my soul will be alive because of you. First you talk about life and death, and then about money. You talk about money. So I heard an explanation that Avram Avinu, he spent all his money to support his yeshiva and all the people he influenced. He had no money. He says, we have an opportunity now that I see a miracle, you become beautiful. Why against nature when you travel, you're supposed to be less beautiful, wrinkled and weak, and now suddenly become more beautiful? Must be why Hashem made this, that we're able to pay back my debts. And when Paro gave him money, it says in Chazal, now she brings it down that he traveled back through all the places he slept, and he paid back his debts, his buyers, what he borrowed. For who? For himself, his yeshiva. So Avraham Avinu, he had tricks and turns. He had to bend the dollar and find ways and tricks and tell about his wife. He used his wife. He saw the miracle to get money from Paroi to pay his debts of his yeshivas, and he traveled. He had a whole big operation. Gave free food in the middle of the desert to influence the world, and he had to move out of his place. So when you want to influence the world, you can't just say, I want to influence the world. It doesn't work like that. You hear of that, Emmanuel? You have to use the Chokhmah of the world, and Chokhmah of Avraham Avinu, and Chokhmah of our forefathers to influence the world, to bring Hashem to the world. Not just, I want, and I stand and I preach at Hashem. It doesn't work. You just preach and you stand. It doesn't work. Just like that, bluntly. You have to do eitzes and tachbulos. And Hashem even told them what to do. Leave the city. Go travel. And it was very successful. But it didn't last. All those Geirim, at the moment they saw Hashem, when we came 1 or 2 generations later, they all perished. So that's why Hashem told Avraham Avinu, we're going to start a nation from your children. Judaism follows children. Because a child wants to do what his father wants fully. Against wars, against harrows and troubles and travelings and exiles. That's the secret of the Jewish people. With all the killings and all that, and all the exile, the Jewish people didn't perish, and they stayed, and they moved it on to the children. That's why Judaism goes through the children. It says, Leman Yadati, I know that he's going to influence his children after him, and they will keep the Torah will stay. And Hashem will stay. And all those people that he influenced all perish. A different question, so why he did it. He did it anyhow because that's covered Hashem, even though all perish. But it's not our point now. Our point is that you have to make tricks and ways and use Chokhmah on to influence the world. And one of the things is clothing. Yeshiva Bachim wear white and black, wear suits, you have to shave your beard, or you have a trim beard, you have to look nice, you have to take a shower, we have a mikveh here. People have to look good. Somebody walks in Besmedesh, you can't see a balagan. Here you have to set up all the books. You have to have a nice bulletin board, maybe a little small computer, a screen with a time of learning, schedule, etc. to be representable, good, and when somebody sees it, it gets influence, wants to be part of this. It's an obligation. And we learned that from Avraham Avinu. We learned from Hashem, told them how to influence. Leave your city, don't spend your energy and time in the city, go somewhere else. And Navi. And that's the issue I want to speak about today. This is what we have to learn. It's we want to influence even ourselves and others, we have to use Chokhmah. Not just, I want and I do. You have to use Chokhmah. When you use Chokhmah, you succeed. Hashem requires us to use Chokhmah, wisdom, how, and tricks how to influence and sell Hashem in the world.